This is Smoking Out the Closet. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everyone, my name is Rayven, I use she, her pronouns.
Hi, I'm Asmodeus, I use they, ze pronouns.
And welcome back to another episode of Smoking Out the Closet. For those of you who are new or just joining us, welcome.
Welcome.
We are a queer podcast.
Pun intended.
That talks about cannabis.
The LGBT community.
And everything in between.
And beyond.
So welcome.
Welcome.
And especially if you're just joining us from the Pittsburgh Cannabis Festival for the 5th year in a row. Thank you so much for stopping by. I feel like we actually had a better turnout, not only at the event itself, but also at our table this year.
About, 150 business cards?
150 business cards. And
That's crazy. And we had more people after that stop by the table.
Yeah. So we had a good at least 200 plus people show up.
The day after, morning after, I saw at least a good 7, 8 new followers on our account. So
yeah. So proud of that.
Hell yeah.
So what's our topic today, Asmodeus?
Corpo Cannabis.
Corpo Cannabis. The good, the mostly bad, and the ugly of corporate weed. So we've talked about troubles with MSOs before through different parts of the podcast, but we're actually talking about corporate weed as an entity itself. The things it can do, usually, the things it can't do, the struggles they have, and the horrible things that they do. Do you want to give our listeners your definition of what corporate cannabis is?
So it's, to me anyway, it's some big company that has a bunch of money that's controlling grows and dispensaries. Kind of run more like a business than kind of more akin to the agricultural side of things, where I think cannabis should be aligned. But yeah.
Yeah, so I would agree on that. It's treating, instead of coming into the culture, coming in as someone who literally used cannabis either as medicine or for themselves or someone else, or used it recreationally to expand their horizons, as some people would say. I mean, it's not ayahuasca. It's very limited on what it can do, but you know what I mean, though. You're less shitty of a person with cannabis in your life, generally, or you should be. People like Cheech and Chong, right? They've been around with cannabis for a while. They have their own cannabis line. They have their own hemp-based line for people outside of adult use states. Mm-hmm. And they genuinely love cannabis. They loved it for years, and they've used it for themselves. And as they're getting older, they're using it to help with their older, their golden years, essentially.
Yeah,
it's a lot different than, say, folks like Curaleaf that we've bitched about multiple times on this show for almost 3-4 years now,
for a multitude of reasons over those years.
Where the CEO broke trade laws working with a Russian oligarch who was barred from working with the U.S., ties to Russia's political sphere, literally broke OSHA violations, supporting every time it goes adult use, usually they leave the state because they can't control the market, and they can't survive because they can't control the fucking market. And then the states that they do usually operate in medical only, they try to make sure it's always voted down for adult use.
They're a parasite on the medical community.
Mm-hmm. Take True Leaf. True Leaf in Florida has mold in their grow facilities and on their plants, and they support this current administration, which we can go on about. But you really want to support the guy who's taking away people's rights. There was MAGA folks selling coasters at the Cannabis Festival. I'm sorry, and I'm not apologizing for this. I'm apologizing for the energy I'm about to produce. If you're fucking a Trump supporter in cannabis, get the fuck out of here. You do not belong in this community.
You do not at all, no. The amount of Trump supporters I saw at my old store is ridiculous. It's disgusting.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Tell the listeners about some of the MSOs we hate here in Pennsylvania.
Can we talk shit on where we used to work now?
Yeah, fuck it. We're not paying with them.
All right,
we didn't sign any NDA contracts or anything.
Fucking Air doesn't work well with their unions.
AYR,
or Mercer Strategies, or however they want to market themselves. They don't work well with their unions. They try to push their union down. I feel like some of their reps are in their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
They ignore their stewards.
They break OSHA codes.
They break OSHA. And now I believe they're going currently bankrupt because they closed, if I'm not mistaken, all of their non-union stores, which I think there were only about 5 of them left.
Yeah.
And their non-union grow. And you know how they did that? Because that grow was just recently acquired by the union before I left.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't in the contract yet. They were in the limbo middle state right before the contract started, which is how they said, "Yep, nope, we're closing you. Goodbye."
That's bullshit.
They do some bullshady shit. Bullshit.
And it's funny too because like everyone's like, well, it's because of like Pittsburgh Normal. Like this is also a thing. Like I on paper agree with Normal and The Last Prisoner Project, but they're just as bad as the rest of Corpo Cannabis.
Oh yeah,
they're very whitewashing. Very only get the people that they want, usually white folks, out of prison. Yes, do they advocate for people of color sometimes? But I don't think they do it well enough. And Pittsburgh Normal literally said, well, if they went adult use by now, AYR wouldn't be going under business. And blaming Josh Shapiro for it when it's literally the politicians they're supporting for adult use, state-operated dispensaries.
You blame the stupid-ass motherfucking CEO who was in my store, who didn't know my face that he had met me before, or any of his employees, and he didn't know a goddamn thing about how anything worked. Coming into the store, putting aside an extra like 30% of the budget for adult use when it's not even. They said, "Oh, it's around the corner. Oh, it's around the corner." Well, guess what?
The last 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years of it's around the corner for 30% of your budget, and you're trying to make that up by having like a 75% profit on your products in your store that aren't in house. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
get the fuck out. No wonder you're going bankrupt.
Air had the biggest amount of fucking third-party products priced out of. They had the biggest markup on third-party products out of any dispensary in the state.
Perfect example: Organic Remedy patches. I love Organic Remedy patches. My coworker, she loves the Organic Remedy patches.
I love them.
She lives beside Organic Remedy. She goes there, and it's better than our discount, or not ours. The employee discount at Air to buy them in store because Air charges $25 for them, whereas Organic Remedies charges $15 for them.
And that's not bad. Like every other dispensary I've seen, it's $20 for them.
Yeah,
it's not bad. That's a fair markup, I think. But like almost a 75% increase.
If I have seen, I can say this because I'm not under NDA or anything.
Yeah,
when I was forced to do inventory and I looked at all the fucking sheets that come in and how they do their ordering. Those eighths that are in-house even come in $3-4 a pop. They sell them for $24 an eighth. The out-of-house stuff, the Cresco shit, comes in for $20 an eighth. They used to sell it for like 60 still, 50, 60. And it would never go on sale there.
60 an eighth?
Yeah, 55 to 60, depending. And
45 at my dispensaries.
Yeah, and it just recently gotten marked down before I had left. It just had a price drop. The only thing that really ever stayed like consistent with their store is Terrapin.
Yeah.
Terrapin stuff at Air has always been the same price as has been everywhere else.
Yeah, because Terrapin just got their own dispensary.
Also, before 1806, is that what they were called? The people who
1906 was the tablets.
Before 1906, pulled out of Pennsylvania with Standard Farms.
Yes, for a while, yeah.
Before they pulled out of Pennsylvania, they were at Air's pricing people and badgering them because their prices were too high.
Mm-hmm.
Their prices were too high, and they would come into our store and ask us, what was up with your menu? And it's like, well, first of all, we're sorry. Like, we can't do anything as bud tenders, as people of, like, just managers at the store. But we'll send an email up, and of course, they know they didn't listen to us. So then their reps would come to them and say, hey, if you don't lower your price, we're not going to sell to you anymore.
Yeah. They pulled the whole Arizona tea thing.
Exactly. Like, well, why? Why do you need that extra? Where's it going? It's not going to the employees because they don't make a living wage.
Yeah.
It's not going to the GMs because they don't make enough to manage those fucking shit shows and do all the bullshit. It's not going to the district managers because she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. Nobody has trained her to do anything.
Nobody at your store was trained how to do anything anyway.
No. My last straw was when my goddamn stupid commander-in-chief decided to try to tell me how the fuck I'm gonna spend my lunch break. And I was like, oh, the hell the fuck you're not. Absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah, they have no authority. Like, they can tell you, hey, this is when your break's over, but they can't tell you how to spend your break.
Because she was like, oh, well, you have to punch out for 30 minutes. And if I was to punch out for 30 minutes, some other time I didn't actually go on break, that would be time fraud.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
like, she's like, oh, well, you gotta punch out for 30 minutes. So, like, and then you can go do whatever, take the rest of your break. But you can't have, like, people on the premises while you're on your lunch break. And I'm like, I am off the clock. Don't fucking tell me how to spend my time.
Yeah, also, how many times have you had to come back from while you're on your break to help that store out?
Exactly. I was on call a lot of the time. And they didn't have, enough relief for their union managers, their managers that were still, within underneath union protection for them to have their paid breaks that they had. They consistently broke their union contracts.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? Nothing.
Yeah.
They wrongfully fired an employee, and she is still currently going through, I think she now has like 6 lawyers on her side on this case against Air.
Yeah, that's probably also why they're probably going out of business, because the amount of lawsuits they have against them.
Why, God, what is the EEOC and why do I feel like I need to know what they do?
Equal Employment Opportunity Committee.
Okay, so that explains why they're involved with this, because the person in question is over the age of 40 and female. So there's a lot of also age discrimination that goes on in that company.
Oh, yeah.
Just like how at Zenleaf, when you were talking about with the Last Prisoner Project, they want they want to expunge the white people's records. They want to get the white people out of jail. They also want the white people in their company. I have an African-American friend who had tried for 2-3 years, applied for the same job again and again and again. One position up, didn't get it. Moved to a different store, still didn't get it.
Oh, same. But, they promote people based on personality.
Yeah.
And because they're all buddy-buddy with them.
Not commitment, not knowledge, not backgrounds.
Yeah.
In the industry, no.
No, just help your friends out.
Help your friends out.
Because that's the thing with Zenleaf. I had a huge conversation with someone, like one of the higher-ups, like 3rd or 4th in command when she came to my dispensary. And because the CEO is for Zenleaf is a restaurateur and is the most paid out of all dispensary CEOs. Out of any MSO, he is the most paid. He is the most rich.
Still pisses me off because how do you do that?
And yet, we couldn't get $1 raise. We couldn't get a $2 raise. Some people we had who were managers were working 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet. And then you were overworking your inventory personnel, so where they actually had to make up sales numbers when they were doing stuff. Now, keep in mind, we only had one inventory, and then sometimes we had to pull someone off the floor to help them get the inventory in and taken care of quick enough. Because we only had one person taking care of inventory.
And not to mention you guys didn't have security.
No. So, we had to be security. Now, keep in mind, I was probably the most qualified to be security because I'm a fucking veteran.
And that's if you had enough people to run the store.
Yeah.
You had to have the people to run the store on the floor before you could have somebody in security.
Yeah, which is against PA's DOH's regulations. And so I was talking to the CEO, like that higher up, and I'm like, why are we doing certain things? Like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? It just does not make sense to me. Someone higher up needs to get this fixed. It was something with like legislation or something. I cannot tell you for the life of me. She goes, well, I'm the higher up, and I know about that, and that's not what we're doing. It's, yes, it fucking is. And I just had it with a company. And then I went to Liberty, where they're illegally taking tips and putting it into a lunch fund and not giving it to the people. But the problem is, because it's a federally illegal substance still, that the business is in this fucking gray area and loophole that allows them to do that. If it was any other company and any other industry, they would be allowed to do that. They would not be allowed to do that. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I left after a week because I refused to sign that paperwork.
Bullshit.
So, and that's not even the worst part. Like, and these are the tamer ones, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, these are just shitty business practices. But that's the thing with MSOs, is they're mostly run by shitty people because they come from different industries, like the food industry, that are already running places like really shitty businesses do.
And every time you tell me that Verano's CEO came from the fucking the restaurant industry, I'm like, okay, I did too. That's a big fucking jump. And managing one is nothing like managing the other. And
he doesn't smoke weed. He's never partaked in weed. But he had one of his representatives that used to go to your dispensary. Yeah. He would just go out and like hand out weed to people at different like meetings here in Pennsylvania, which is fucking illegal.
That is illegal as fuck, yeah.
And then like also buy a bunch of weed products and just share it with people. So, and then we would have to be on people about diverting product in our parking lot.
When that's what your employees were doing.
When the higher-ups are doing, yeah. Yeah, and then it was funny, too, because, like, someone, like a higher-up was smoking weed on camera in a meeting, and nothing happened. But an employee did that, and they got fired.
Oh,
the hypocrisy of corporate America is amplified with cannabis, unfortunately.
It's ridiculous.
Especially in these medical-only states.
And then not to mention, you get into the dispensary setting, and it's like you're in fucking high school. It's drama. It's bullshit. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows how to mind their own goddamn business. It's dude bro culture.
It really is. The whole thing that we started the show, to show that it's not just the frat boy, dude bro mentality of cannabis that has been amplified and shown as, is actually the status quo in corporate cannabis.
Yeah. And that's how they paint it. That's how they depict it. Because that's where these people come from. Mm-hmm. If they do have anybody who knows jack shit about the plant, how to grow it, they're usually the people getting genetics from California. They're their growers from California. Mm-hmm. And those people from California and the rec states are like, hey, oh yeah, dude, like party mentality. But this is also like, we need to normalize. We need to like educate. And that's all you go inside, kind of segueing into the fucking cannabis festival.
Yeah,
had a bunch of corporate bullshit with it this week. It was this weekend.
This weekend, yeah. And I do want to say before we get to the cannabis festival that yes, there are good growers from California that come in that actually treat the plant well. Like Absolutely. When I went to the tour in Ohio because the one in Pennsylvania was way too far on the other side of the state. It was actually closer for us to just go to Ohio's grow facility and tour their facility, whatever. But the fact that he was a grower from California, changed how the plants were. Actually, from all the reviews online after he came out that I saw, because I was curious on the way back home, he actually did make the products a lot better and everything. So like they actually know what they're talking about. A lot of them are good advocates, but you also do get those kind of corporate California grow bros. I like that come in and then also acts like that, because corporate cannabis sucks everywhere. Like fucking glasshouse cannabis. I think that's what it is.
The ones who are getting buddy with Nazis now.
Yeah. What? Wait, was that?
Weren't they giving? I'm pretty sure it was Glasshouse Grows that was giving money to Trump to help try to reclassify cannabis. I was just looking at it before reschedule, not reclassify. Before we were recording, I was looking at it, and I'm just like, "Are you?"
I know Glasshouse is one that our friends over at Cool Nerd Weed Show in California absolutely fucking hate because they're a piece of shit corporate cannabis.
Yeah, and this just shows their fucking colors.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
you can see right through them. You're a glass house. Don't throw fucking stones, you idiot.
But let's talk about the Cannabis Festival because
oh my goodness,
we have some opinions. So, do we love the Pittsburgh Cannabis Festival? Yes, we've had a huge hand in making it to what it is today, and I will fight anyone who says we did not have a hand in it. We talked to some folks who were like, "Oh yeah, we were here for the first year, and we missed a couple years, but we're so glad how much better it's gotten." And I said, "Yes, this is because what we did with our show. We just moved here after the first year. We just heard about it, and I started the process of working with them on that. We made advertisements. We talked in both of our dispensaries. We spread the word on the street. We made advertisements for free in the contract that we would get a table, signs, and act like an actual sponsor. Every year, we had something missing. At least 1 to 3 things missing in our
when
contract.
We did have an actual written contract.
This year was different. And it's gotten very corporate-y since this group, KCRA, kind of took over. Because they're kind of like this weird corporate advertisement thing for cannabis in PA, but you can't really... There's weird advertisement laws here in PA with cannabis, right?
Yeah.
Like, when I was working for Zenleaf, I was told we weren't allowed to put up billboards, but Liberty put up billboards. So I was like, wait, what?
What makes them special?
Yeah. So it's weird, right? So this year, I messaged them. Last year, I messaged them 2 months in advance, and it felt like they were getting everything kind of scooped together, organized by the seat of the pants. So I messaged them 3-4 months in advance.
Mm-hmm.
And kept having to message them because I kept getting ignored. And it was basically, well, we can't do the podcast sponsorship level again for you guys this year. No reason why, just we couldn't, right?
Yeah.
But we'll give you a table for free and a tent, but we don't have enough awning. So I was like, okay, fine. Well, we have an awning or canopy, whatever you want to call it. I got that covered. That's fine. We still get a table and 2 chairs, right? Because that's what you told us. Yes. Okay. And then they told us our spot, where it was. And I said, okay, how... Because I was first told we're not doing it, and then they did it to someone else 3 days before the event. For a podcast that used AI art and has no listeners and no episodes. Like... I don't mind. Get your fucking bag. Advertise for your new show any way you can. That's what we did. But the fact that you're using AI art and that's because the festival allowed it, that's okay, right? Like,
and even before the festival, you don't have any content. You don't have anything to promote yet.
Yes, exactly.
At least when we were like, oh my god, we don't have any listeners. We don't really have anything going on.
We had at least 20 episodes.
We made shit. Yeah.
But that's the thing, too, is, like, I understand these festivals, they need money. They need to be able to operate somehow, right? Like, take Pittsburgh's Pride. We have to kind of be on the mercy of, like UPMC and, like, the Steelers. Because we need those corporations because it's run by the local community. Pittsburgh Cannabis Fest is operated by Zero Fossil Electronics, a clean energy corporation. They're the ones that were running it at first. Still do. They just got a guy from KCRA to basically do all the organizing part of it. But it's actually already being done by a corporation. It's free advertising for this green energy organization, which I don't hate. Yes, green energy. Cool. I love that. You can be a little more choosy with what corporation you come in. So the fact that, like, oh, hey, we're getting a anti-union newspaper as a sponsor. We're getting
Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Don't mince words. It's the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Well, because they were last year. I don't know if they were this year. I didn't see them on the list. But they were last year, and they were still union busting then.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure their workers are still on strike.
Oh, yeah, they are. But let's talk about this. So... These corporations, I made an Instagram post, It said, while we're at Pittsburgh Cannabis Festival today, we want to remind everyone that why festivals like this exist in the first place. It is the community. The brands in this post, which I'm going to read the ones that are here in PA and what dispensaries they're owned by, are pushing and supporting politicians and legislations that remove what Ohio people voted for, adult use cannabis, because they want to recriminalize it so they can control the market. And which ones do you think that is, Azzy?
True Leaf.
Actually, True Leaf isn't on this list because I don't think True Leaf actually operates in Ohio.
Curaleaf.
Yes, so it's Curaleaf is one of them. It's Sunnyside.
It was one or the other.
So it's Sunnyside, which owns Cresco, Supply, and something else.
No surprise there.
Rise, which is Rhythm, so GGI Good Green, Rhythm, and Dr. Solomon's.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have PharmaCann, which is Matter and Magnitude in this state products. Let's see. You have Green Thumb, Cresco, so those are the brands. AWH, which is Ascend Wellness Health, which is Ascend Dispensary, which one of my friends who I used to work with is very much like us, does not like this shit, is working for, unfortunately. And I did not have the heart to tell him, hey, your company is trying to make it adult use illegal again in Ohio. Curaleaf, which owns Find, Grassroots, Jams, and Select. And then INSA, which owns INSA products.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And they were sponsors for the Pittsburgh Cannabis Festival. And they weren't just cheap sponsors. They were like some of the bigger sponsors for the festival.
Yeah.
So what it shows for festivals like this is that you're willing to endorse companies or be endorsed by companies that are actively making it harder for people to have free access to cannabis legally.
And I have been saying this 3-4 months out, and when you were getting the emails for the festival and trying to get a hold of them, they're in it for the money. That's why they didn't want us to be a sponsor. We couldn't have the money for the thing. That podcast that uses the AI art and has no shit and was given away at Pivot, that right there shows you that they have bullshit money. Okay, where'd you get the money for the Pivot, but you don't have the money to do the show or the time to do the show?
Because they're owned by a hemp store.
And so that hemp store had enough money
mm-hmm.
to pay the sponsorship spot. And that's all that they really cared about. It was very apparent this year is they were about the money.
Yeah, it was even more apparent because the email I got was, I was trying to say, hey, what's the price for the sponsorship next year? Are we going to have a table for next year? Because you said we're pretty much locked in because we've been doing this, and a reason why the Cannabis Festival is so big, how big it's gotten. And I pretty much got told, let's wait till after this year's festival. We have to figure out what's best for the events. So that just tells me that you don't give a fuck about the people who made the event as big as it is. You only care about the money.
Exactly.
And that's why I made that post, because I'm like, the events are for the people, right? Yes, is this a free public event? But you also had people... You're trying to destigmatize, but also kind of work within the bounds of the law to try to make sure that people are being taken care of, but it's also not going to have the people who don't support us use anything bad that happens at these events against us, right?
Yeah.
You have people selling seeds and full plants. I hope they were hemp.
Yeah.
For legal sake. At the one near the Poconos, they actually had people from New York selling full-ass actual plants.
I've heard they were having people out there selling shrooms, too.
Yeah. And I'm like, sure, has this community been underground for so long? Yes. Am I saying, I don't care what you do in your own home. Just be smart, don't get caught, right?
Yeah.
But with these events, we have such a huge lens on us. We have to be kind of careful of what we do. But that brings into another thing, too. that one of the people who were volunteering at the event brought up to us the racial discrimination with corporate cannabis.
Yes.
And this includes to the hemp industry, right? So you had these Pittsburgh downtown locations that were selling THCA products, legal Farm Bill regulated hemp products. Everyone that was owned by a person of color has gotten shut down and raided and shut down. But
the Hemp Co.,
who
is basically the corporate cannabis of the hemp bill industry,
which like 4 locations across the Pittsburgh area.
Not a word.
Not a word.
All run staffed by white folks.
Black Bear, owned by veterans, get their bag, sure, yes. Help veterans get products, veterans, sure. Also run by white folks, also hasn't had any issues, but a corporate sponsor, and was giving away free joints the first year they were there.
I remember that, yep.
And I'm like, how are you going to prove that that's THCA? Like, cool, give it away. I don't care. We're not fucking California yet.
Yeah.
We still have a lot of GOP against us. Yes, is Pittsburgh decriminalized? Yes. That does not mean the cops aren't going to arrest people. And especially if, like, the only reason I felt like that no one did that is because it was a bunch of white people there.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that I don't think they realize that. Is that, and we're white. I want to put that out there. We're fucking white as fucking snow.
50 Shades of Mayonnaise.
But we also understand that with our skin tone comes a lot of fucking privilege.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that when it comes to cannabis, is that we're benefiting from the backs of the people who fought for it, predominantly people of color, because they were the ones having it made illegal to arrest them.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I've always been a supporter of cannabis. For me in high school, my thought was it might not be my cup of tea. But I'm not going to tell you can't do it, because in my eyes, even as a high schooler, even a middle schooler, I could see that it was less damaging than alcohol. And basically, all my mom told me was, growing up, was she wasn't really for it because it made you lazy. And I'm looking at my grandmother, who was a fucking alcoholic, and be like, well, I mean, that's legal. Fucking 2 boxes of wine a day. Yeah, that's fine. And I probably have some trauma from around that. Let's be honest. But fucking a dad smoking and ended up having his product, like, a wrapper of a product in his kid's playroom and got arrested and almost lost his fucking children. Yeah, that's fucking, that makes sense, right? So, the festival, unfortunately, does not address any of that.
No.
Never has. So I feel like we do. And I feel like that's what we have to do when we're there. We have to address that shit. The same reason why we, spread about the LGBT history in cannabis, because not a lot of folks realize that, hey, our community was the reason why California went medical in 96. And I said that like a fucking at least 300 times during the festival.
It was amazing that you were spreading so much knowledge, and I love listening to you talk at the festival. I allowed you some time to stuff your face, and I was like, give me the spiel. I know it. I've heard it so much today. I've heard it 20 times at least already.
But that's the thing, is like, I feel like not a lot of people knew that, because the festival doesn't like to focus on that stuff. Like the first 2 years before KCRA took over, they were allowing people to step on the stage. They allowed us to step on the stage and spread that knowledge and talk about that. But again, it's super disorganized then. It's just as disorganized now. And yet, now we have someone whose job it is to do that a lot more. And it's still dysfunctional as shit.
And they're focusing on, again, the vendors, the sponsors.
The money.
The money. They had 3 stages. Not a single one was educational.
Yeah, they had a wellness tent. Barely anybody went to it. They had some music event. They're like, 2 years ago, there was live music. There was demonstration. It was like the Pride events.
It was like a cannabis pride.
Yes, exactly. But ever since KCRA took over the organization, it's just gone fucking downhill.
Yeah.
It's become corporate cannabis.
It's really sad. Because those first couple, I remember our first year there. It was amazing. It was energetic. There was so much going on. There were people that were so excited to be there. And now
you had art. It's so bad. Eric Asher does not want to be there.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Eric Asher is the guy who presses like flour into concentrates for veterans for fucking free
in the Pittsburgh area.
He got so big and well known that Vice did an interview with him. Yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
And he doesn't even want to go after last year because of everything they've done. Because he's also very anti-cannabis, corporate cannabis. And that's sad because you had art, you had music. Yes, the food trucks were off the hook again. They were amazing.
So good.
They always are. But that's Pittsburgh. That's a Pittsburgh thing.
Pittsburgh has great food trucks.
Amazing food trucks. But like, I don't know. It just felt, this year felt very millennial gray. It made the whole cannabis festival feel millennial gray.
Yeah.
Like that mom who took her daughter's Fisher Price Christmas tree and sprayed it those very matte, bland, like flat tones of colors.
Beiges and fucking
tans.
Like
that flat ass green and beige.
Yeah.
That's what this year felt like.
You know, you're not wrong.
Because and I talked to someone from Ethos. And he's like, well, I'm from corporate side of cannabis, and there's a lot of red tape we have to go around because of like states like Ohio or PA. Like we have to get a lot of permission, a lot of bureaucratic stuff done. Yes, that is a valid fucking point. And that's a reason why small shops like Black Bear Hemp Company can't become a veteran-owned medical marijuana dispensary because all the fees and everything, all the red tape they have to get around. So they just work with the Farm Bill because it's easier. I would love to open up my own veteran-owned LGBT cannabis company. I would
That'd be
love
fucking amazing.
to fucking do that.
Hell yeah.
But thanks to Act 64, we can't do that because Act 64 allowed the MSOs to buy all the other small companies. And now we have like 3 Pennsylvania-owned either grower or dispensary companies. And that's sad. And I talked to one of them. Hell, I was talking to one of them for a bit about like having an interview with them, and then I got just ghosted after a while, and then I just gave up after a year of follow-ups. So, and it's sad because also look at everyone who owns cannabis companies in the state of PA. Every one of them is owned by a white person.
Usually a white man.
Mm-hmm. There's like maybe one that I know is owned and run by a woman. One I know is managed by a woman, but she's the child of 2 veterans. So I don't know which one of them technically, if it's like a family thing.
Yeah.
But the only one I know is Kim Rivers. 100%. And Kim Rivers fucking sucks. We've gone on a spiel about Kim Rivers before on this show.
Yes.
She fucking sucks. So I don't know. We've honestly debated if this was going to be our last year at the Cannabis Festival. And then while we were there, it was the people that reminded us why we came. It was the people that we miss, of reason why we dealt with the bullshit of dispensaries for so long.
Our patients, the people who are genuinely interested and curious and hungry for knowledge. And they want people like us to spread information, to keep, talking to people. And that's what it's about.
Yeah, and then like the fact that they actually genuinely get relief and like you see them get better and like are able to deal with things a lot better as time goes on and like are able to get some form of relief for the first time in years. And that's part of the reason why we keep doing the show, is because we couldn't deal with the industry anymore. This is the only way we can be a part of the industry and still help people, is by being a voice, being advocates, going to events.
Being educators,
going to talk to politicians, and just being a voice and a friend and a leader. Because, yes, I'm a veteran and I'm white. I have a level of privilege. I know that. And I'm going to use that to not just help the LGBT community have the equal rights that we're supposed to have, but people of color have equal rights. Cannabis for being for fucking everybody and not just being benefited by white people who, like the yoga stoners, where they do yoga and Pilates while smoking weed, but there's people still in jail in California for having a like crumb of weed in their car. Yeah. That's why every time Normal goes, oh, you should support this bill. And I'm like, it's not state, it's state run, and it does not have home grow, and it has no social equities. Actually, you know what? I have a conversation from a while ago with Pittsburgh Normal that I want to bring up about that, because I actually pretty much kind of like in a way got into like a through text screaming match, basically. So H Bill 2500 adult use legalization bill, I made a story post about this saying it does not do enough. House Bill 2210 had home grow and social equity to get those affected by the war on drugs to the cannabis industry. Please support that bill instead. Because Pittsburgh Normal said support H Bill 2500. So they said H Bill 2500 does include home grow, auto expungements, and resentencing, includes social portion for robust social equity portion that's robust for owners. Is it interesting? It didn't happen when I read it earlier in August. Even the representative from the office that supported it at Pittsburgh Festival said it didn't. Well, it does. Sorry, there must be confusion. Home grow is for medical marijuana patients only, though that's a caveat. So it could have been added after, but rereading it right now, it still feels like the older bills that what's waiting for the Senate committee is way better. And they said Brown's bill isn't going anywhere, but yeah, they're still amending 2500, but it's there and won't be removed, as the Black Caucus would kill the bill. Those added ones we demanded, thankfully. I said that's good then. But the problem was they didn't get added.
They didn't cite anything either. When they said, oh yeah, yes, it's there.
But I looked
cite
again,
your fucking sources.
And then I looked later, and guess what? They were still never added. They were looking at adding those things, and it never got added. And guess what? That bill didn't go anywhere either. We should probably, I know, instead of, like, yes, I know there are certain limitations on bills when they get introduced and they kind of die on committee tables. Sure. But when they're still in the session year, fucking advocate for those ones before we advocate for a new one that just got introduced at the lowest fucking level.
Yeah.
And that's what pisses me off about Normal so much. And then going back to the AYR thing that we talked about, because they were like, oh, it's just Shapiro's fault. The governor who's been pushing our politicians to do something about it, and the Republicans were saying, no, it's his fault? Yeah, okay.
Because it's not their fault.
No, it's not their fault. The AYR is falling apart. But the moment I said that, they didn't correct themselves. They said they believed me. And I even cited sources. And I found some of the lawsuits online.
Yeah.
And I cited sources. And they're like, yeah, we believe that, but kept their misinformation up.
How fucking stupid.
So Normal is just as bad as fucking corporate cannabis. Because you know what Normal and the Last Prisoner Project screamed to me? White savior complex.
Yep.
They just want to look good more than actually do good. So, yeah, that's a big thing for me. And we had a whole episode about the Last Prisoner Problems, is the title of that episode.
Yes.
And I even contacted some of their higher-ups and their media outreach personnel for that episode and told you guys their responses to me. And a lot of it is, nuh-uh. When they had people who used to work for them come out and talk about their issues. And their response was, uh-uh. So, I don't know. Corporate weed, see, this is where I think it should be. We should be more... I haven't experienced as Oklahoma's market, but I've had some friends who I used to work with who did. To get your fucking license to operate a dispensary is just about as easy as getting a fucking liquor license in that state. $30, you have to go through some, like, specific checks and shits. You have to get it inspected and get certain permits. It's about $30 to $100 for everything said and done for just the business application side. Yeah. Not counting the building, not counting all the regular business paperwork, just for cannabis stuff, right? Which is about on par for alcohol liquor licenses for the state. And yes, do they have a booming economy there? Do we have a booming market there? Yeah. Is it a little saturated? Sure. Just like California is a little saturated. But the reason why they're saturated is because they can't go outward.
Yeah.
But, like, their weed is super cheap. It's really good. And they have festivals like this, like the Pittsburgh Cannabis Festival. But guess what? It's all local folks. You have places in California that do farmers market with weed.
That's fucking amazing.
Fucking farmers market. It's community.
Yeah, as it should be.
And it's infuriating to me that we're allowing it. Because, like, I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Cannabis Festival from the first year. It's right there behind you on our closet door in our studio. You had live performances featuring 4 local bands, medical card certification, glass and CBD shops, cannabis education, and it just felt like you didn't have any of the music. Mm-mm. You didn't have none of the education, and it was a holistic thing too. You had people there talking about like the importance of gut health and, you know, certain foods you should eat to help produce your gut more. You had people that would talk about the importance of like certain medications and teas you should drink to help with like phlegm issues.
There was a booth there that the person literally only sold fermented products.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about, the gut health.
Yeah, I liked her.
But like, it's just... It's horrible, because, like, the amount of fucking people that were there were just, like, it just seemed like corporations only. And then you had, like, stage lineup, and, like, yes, you had some music, but it was nowhere near the first few years. And you couldn't even hear it.
No.
When we first were there, you can hear one of the live performances no matter where the fuck you were. This year, you could barely hear it.
There was a little kind of like reggae band I caught a little bit of when I was.
That was a guy
around.
playing speaker at his table.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he was on the stage.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
There was a guy playing reggae. But it was only for a little bit.
Yeah, there was like a DJ just standing there playing music.
And you couldn't hear him until you were like right in front of him. There was like a little DJ stage where he was like doing his thing and they were like rotating out all day, which was kind of cool. But like that kind of thing needs live music.
Yeah, like last year you had a guy who did live beatboxing with stuff, and like when he introduced people, he would make their own little theme with, like, when we came up, he was like, had like made a beat and everything, and then made a melody, and then also sang over on top of it, like with a loop, like a loop box.
Yeah,
and that shit was fucking cool. But you don't have that this year.
There was one guy who was like freestyle rap, and he was kind of neat.
That's good. Like, you would have to tell me more, because I did just pretty much stay at our location.
The one small booth seemed like, I don't know, there was like maybe one, the guy who was freestyle rapping, he seemed pretty local, pretty small. But it just seemed like, you know, you're on the mill DJs, people mixing stuff, like nothing, I don't know. I don't want to put down or lower the importance of DJs, because they have a place and they're important. But at a festival like this, it's like, it's not what it used to be. It's not the live music. It's not the local people. It's these DJs are, you know, your Spencer's DJs who have their shit out of the box and just fucking mix songs together and kind of set a vibe instead of.
Now, when you were walking around, did did it feel, because we're gonna go a little longer this episode, but we're gonna go back to like corporate side. I know we're ragging on the Cannabis Festival a bit. Did it feel like, because the side with the fountain last year and the years before had like a good mix. It was like art, vendors, educators, and dispensaries and corporations. Because I just looked at the map and it just looked like food trucks and then corporate.
Yep. That's all it was down there.
That's bullshit. Because you had some vendors on one side and everything. And you had like vendor alley like the years before, yes. But you also had like a kid selling lemonade at the festival last year.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, cool, lemonade. I'm high as a shit. Yeah, like, give me the lemonade. But like, it wasn't just corporate. You had cannabis, education, you had people performing music, you had like artists there, you had like some people who would be considered vendors mixed in with that, and then you had big vendor alley where like Keeping It Glassy would be, or like Curated Flame would be, and then like, you know, vape shops and like people who sell like buttons and Pride cannabis stuff would be like where we ended up being.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. It just felt like the heart of cannabis is gone. And it might be just us because we're bitter because of the cannabis industry. You know, I will fully admit it might be me. But also, with everything that happened to us with this year's event.
And with the years before.
I'm a little bitter.
Yeah.
Going back to cannabis industry, though, it's a little hard for me to talk about it here with PA's market, because that's the biggest thing we have, and we've talked about how shitty PA's market is for a long time. But the fact that we've been to New Jersey, I've been to Ohio, and we've been to Maryland. And the local growers, the local dispensaries who have their own products in those states have a lot more, I want to say, soul in them. Like, remember when we went to what is it? Black Bear, fuck. What was that company?
God, I can see the dispensary in my head. What was it?
Maryland. I'm looking it up.
Because we drove past it on our way to Virginia.
It's not Black Bear Cannabis, because that's the hemp shop I'm thinking of. But what the fuck is it? Grow West.
Yep, there we go.
Grow West.
No, they did have a Black Bear.
As a logo.
Pre-rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, you have that, and it felt like it had more soul to it. Like, they would come up, yeah, it's a little bit of, like, the regulation side. Like, you have to, like, still show your ID to go in. It's still federally illegal, so, you know, you still have to go through all the steps of going into the dispensary.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt like people would come in, they had music playing, and, like, everybody was having a good time. They come up, like, hey, got any questions? It's like how when I first started working in the industry, or when we used to go, when we did this in State College, and before AYR bought out Nature's Medicine, it was like, all right, yeah, you got some great products here. Like, you got any questions about it? Or like, oh, I tried this one, you're going to love it. Like, sit there and listen to, like, a Bon Jovi album when you hit this. You're going to have a great time. You know, kind of that shit.
It was real connected.
It was a lot like, what was Disjointed?
Yes.
Like, yes, Disjointed is the fucking Big Bang Theory of cannabis dispensaries. Yes. But,
I love that analogy.
But at least it was, like, fun, and you actually felt like it was an actual fun place to be, and you could sit there and enjoy your time there.
Exactly.
And you'd be like, oh, cool. Like, fucking Grow West had their own merch there, and we're selling t-shirts, and I know that's a state-to-state rule, like, we can't do that in Pennsylvania. But, like, it still felt like it had heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it's just, I feel like with a lot of things, like, what's that, like, I feel like with big grocery store chains most of the time, too, like, it just feels, get your shit, get the fuck out.
Yeah, it's like, okay, even to let's take two locals, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll take Coons and we'll take Giant Eagle Market District.
Mm-hmm.
Giant Eagle is still a local Western PA company. So is Coons. Now, Giant Eagle has more locations. They've gone larger. They've expanded.
And they've gone into other states.
Coons has, I don't even know how many. Probably just like a handful.
Yeah.
You go to Coons, they go, oh, hey, how you doing? So maybe they'll recognize you or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's smaller. It's a little bit more relaxed. It's kind of spread out a little more. It's a little quieter. And then, you know, you get greeted, asked if you need stuff. You go to Giant Eagle, however, the parking lot's ridiculously busy. There's a whole bunch of people bustling around inside.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like...
Here, for my southern folks, I'm going to put this in a very big conversation. It's like going down to Piggly Wiggly. That's Coons for us, all right? And it's Kuhns. I know it's a little weird. But Giant Eagle is probably more akin to like fucking going down to like Walmart.
I was just thinking it's just like the grocer section of Walmart. Like the Walmart groceries, that's about the vibe.
We make this joke all the fucking time. Corporate Cannabis is Apple.
Yep.
It is Apple. It is literally the Apple dispensary, bland, minimalist, bright lights blinding you everywhere.
The walls are white and gray.
Soul dispensaries. Because I make a joke, when we go to our mall actually has an Apple store. By the way, first time I've lived in an area that I can actually go to an Apple store.
Crazy.
Like, when I grew up in Virginia, I don't remember if there was an Apple store. I didn't see one while we were down there the last two times we visited. But we're by an Apple store, and every time we pass it, I go, that's a funny-looking dispensary. Because it looks like one.
It does. Apple store or dispensary. Can you spot the difference?
Yeah, like, at least Planet 13 in Las Vegas does the whole Buc-ee's mentality of it, where it's just, yes, this is a giant-ass dispensary, but you're going to have a fucking huge-ass time. You want fucking steak while you're here? Sure. You want to fucking play video games? Sure. You want to get high as a kite and then just chill out in like a movie theater? Sure. And you know what? Not even a Buc-ee's. Iowa I-80's truck stop. That's what Planet 13 is like with weed. And I think we should do more of that shit. You're like, yes, is that one a big-ass corporation too? Yes. But at least they're kind of having some fucking fun with it. I want a dispensary like the big-ass Bass Pro Shop and that giant Las Vegas pyramid kind of bullshit, okay?
Yeah, corporate cannabis takes itself way too fucking seriously.
I want like corporate cannabis where you can actually sit there, have education, smoke some weed, read a book, and just chill the fuck out. I want a dispensary like, yes, I want like fucking, what is it, cafe lounges or fucking consumption lounges. That's it. Mm-hmm. Yes, I am a huge advocate for that. I want fucking cafe lounges. I want to sit there with a joint in my hand, a coffee in the other, a joint in one hand, a coffee in the other, and I'm watching fucking BBC on the TV.
Yes.
I basically want to do the shit I do at home, but with like in a social setting. I want it's a veteran side. I want a cannabis version of the American Legion. That's what I fucking want. I want an American Legion that I can smoke weed at. Jesus Christ. But yes, that's what I want. I want the experience of like, oh, hey, you can smell it, you can touch it. And I understand that a lot of the good side with West Coast weed is you can smell it, you can touch it, you can interact with it a lot more.
Deli style.
Yes, that's fun. That's better. But the reason why we don't have that is because a lot of these corporations they want control, not competition. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing too. If you're like, say Liberty, that we live nearby, that is the only dispensary I can go to right now because the bus system's fucked up, and the only other dispensary I can go to if you aren't home or our partner Joey isn't home, I have to go to an hour and a half bus ride.
It's inconvenient as fuck.
It's inconvenient. So when I worked for Zenleaf, we wouldn't have certain products anymore because our team at Verano and their team at like fucking Calypso, they didn't work well together. They didn't make an agreement, or someone said something and there's petty drama, and now I can't get Calypso flower at Zenleaf.
It was that way at fucking AYR. You ever wonder why an AYR or error or whatever the fuck you want to call them, those fuckheads don't ever have rhythm flower or, GTI products? It's because I'm pretty sure the drama, at least for our purchaser, Gibsonia, was that the purchaser's girlfriend didn't want him talking to her because, she was female. And
yeah, like just dramatic dumb
just
drama
stupid
bullshit.
High school shit.
And then you have like also in other states, like remember when Rhythm was union busting? I want to say in like Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I kept telling patients not to buy Rhythm shit.
Yeah.
Because like, I'm sorry, fuck that. Fuck union busting.
Absolutely.
Pay people what they're worth. They don't pay us at dispensaries in the state what they're worth. So the cannabis in Virginia got bought out by Verano Holdings. They were advertising the same exact job I was doing without the Virginia pharmacy license thing that some dispensary workers can apply. They were paying them $20 an hour for the same exact knowledge I was getting for $14 starting.
Ridiculous.
It is. And they're like, oh, but you get tips. I'm like, they get tips down there too.
Yeah.
In fact, we have to have so much knowledge that I acted like a pharmacist sometimes, that the pharmacist was too busy backed up with doing, making sure that people's, information was valid and they can actually buy cannabis at our store.
Yeah.
That when anybody had any medical questions, I was one of the few people that like, okay, are you on this medication, this medication, this medication? Are you on ADHD? Okay, this strain might not work for you. I had that high of a level of knowledge for $14 an hour. And yes, is it better than state minimal? Yes, but I'm working as a medical professional. I can basically do the same front desk pharmacy bullshit at Giant Eagle for $17 an hour.
And also, is it better than state minimum? State minimum has been the same for how many fucking years? It's $7.25 in Pennsylvania. Go fuck yourself. If you were going with rate of inflation, a livable wage to live comfortably would be $32 an hour.
Thanks, Ian McConnell.
You're welcome.
But like, still, like it's correct, and that's the thing that's so frustrating is they don't pay people what they're worth.
No. Then they wonder why people get upset. They wonder why
they have huge turnover rates.
They have huge turnover rates. They wonder why their retail stores don't do well. They wonder why shit gets fucked up in their warehouses. Like,
and they break OSHA so fucking much.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I can't tell you how much I bit my tongue when we were seeing OSHA violations at the fucking grow facility when we went to Ohio. I'll put you in this way. I didn't tell you this at the time. So when I was on the scissor lift to check all the different like levels, because it's like a tiered, like pretty much like a shelf system where they grow their plants, there was no harness. There was no latch-in harness. So I grabbed the sides of the scissor lift to make sure I stayed balanced. Because there was no fucking harnesses.
They're supposed to.
They don't. OSHA fucking violation.
Yes.
And then we actually had someone in our regional manager be the subject of a lawsuit on that same exact drive home because he drives like a maniac and almost drove us off the fucking side of a mountain.
Yeah, and one of the people that was in that car worked at my store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this is a lot of us just ranting about how PAs and the companies we used to work for suck, but the issue is it's not just unique to ours.
It's not just a Pennsylvania problem.
Mad Men had a huge issue. We talked about them before. Had a huge issue with it and had such high turnover. They actually filed for bankruptcy, and I'm pretty sure they're under now.
God damn.
And they were one of the bigger players out west. So it's super frustrating that we have these industries literally are pushing it so they can make sure they have control, stop us from going recreational, and then when they get upset when like people are supporting state-run dispensaries. We don't want you to support state-run dispensary because we don't get our money. At this point, I'd rather have state-run. At least they're fucking union. At least they treat their employees well.
Also, while we're on the subject, don't privatize the liquor companies in Pennsylvania. Don't fucking do it because there's a lot of good union jobs. But also, in the same breath, We unionize a decent amount of the cannabis industry in Pennsylvania. Those are also more union jobs you would be losing if you took cannabis to the state regulated level instead of the dispensary level.
What I feel like we should do is we should reverse Act 64, make it easier for small mom and pop shop dispensaries to open up, have them get, help them with like a small, like first time business or cannabis loan to generate more fucking competition, B, more funds in the state, especially if like when we go recreational. Don't let the MSOs go for it. There was a bill similar to that. I think it was 2210 that did this, that it would make it so people could start a medical marijuana adult use dispensary, get a small like kind of fee, like a bunch of the fees waived, start their own business, and then have a full year or two of protection so MSOs can't buy them up.
Yeah.
And if MSOs bought or tried to give them an offer, they would get hit with a big fine. I think we should still do that.
Absolutely, 100%.
Because I would rather see small businesses do it. But you also have to have social equity. For all of the people of color who've been affected by the war on drugs, we need to make sure that they're taken care of. We need to make sure people don't lose their kids because they have a weed wrapper in their kids' room. That maybe the kid or dog got out of the trash.
Even just having your medical card in some states is enough for CPS to come into your home.
Oh, yeah. Hell, here in Pennsylvania, having your medical card means you're on a 24-hour DUI charge. Because the only way they can do a proper sobriety test is if they draw your blood. And if you're a medical patient, that's going to be in your system every day anyway. Unless you take tolerance breaks intermediately like I do by accident. Because I forget to smoke weed because I don't work at a dispensary. That's one thing I will say working at a dispensary is my boss has always made sure, hey, go on your smoke break. Go smoke some weed. You're getting bitchy.
Go outside.
I don't have that. Well, now that you're becoming my VA caregiver, it's a lot more like that.
I'd like to ask you when I go to smoke weed, because it generally ends up being like every hour or two. And I'll go, Rayven, you want to go smoke?
Yeah.
And since it's warmer / temperate outside, it's easier because then you don't have to do the stairs down to the basement.
Yeah, true. Is there anything you want to add about corporate cannabis?
I think I have blowed off my steam.
I think I have too. I do want to give a caveat. Please still go to the Pittsburgh Cannabis Festival. We're going to still try going because we love you guys. You are the reason why we still have the show. You're not just the LGBT side, but the cannabis side. And these events, like, yes, did Pride have Duolingo as a sponsor this year?
Disgusting.
With all their AI shit and everything. And like, yeah, great, cool. That's a standard we want to have, right? You got to take some L's with that. And I do recognize that. You're going to have to take some L's. It's a lot easier to take an L when the freaking Pride Festival is run by the community and not an energy company already.
Exactly.
But we got to still show up for these things. We still got to say, hey, we're here. We still support cannabis. We got to use it to legalize it. And then when we get to the point and support bills that would allow for mom and pop shops to open up, allow for social equity to happen, to get people out of jail, to allow home grow, then we can look at these festivals and say, get the fuck out of here, True Leaf. Get the fuck out of here, Cresco. Get the fuck out of here, Curaleaf. And get the fuck out of here, Ascend.
Hell yeah.
So we're going to keep bitching about that because that's what we do. We bitch. That's my favorite pastime as a disabled vet that doesn't work. I like to bitch about things. But I bitch about things that I think should be fixed.
You bitch about the important things.
So with that said, please still go to the festivals. If you like our show, please let us know. We actually had a lot of folks ask if we had a donation page or anything to support us. We have a Patreon. We don't have a donation page. We probably will do that if you guys want to. Just let us know in the comments or hit us up on our Instagram. We'll also make an Instagram post about that. But let us know, and that's something you want us to do. We'll do it. If you felt like you'd rather just like, hey, I'll float a $5 here or there, because everything we do is out of our own pockets. So we do greatly appreciate the help with that. We still have a Big Cartel, like Shopify style kind of page where we do have merch for sale if you do want to buy that. We also have stickers. We still have stickers that we were selling at the Cannabis Festival. If you want some of those, just let us know. You can Cash App us or Venmo us. And we can mail them out to you. Again, we have that Patreon. I am going to revamp that here soon. So we are releasing episodes a little earlier to where we can release them and give it to you guys like the week we record it. And then we'll release it the week after or something like that. So we'll figure it out. We're going to try to get some stuff worked on. That festival just took a lot out of us, especially me.
Yeah.
And dealing with all my mental stuff with the VA and getting the equipment back up and running. It's been a lot lately, so I do apologize for the wait and delays and everything this year. But we're gonna go a little bit better this year because now we're not working the industry. We're focusing on this. This is our big project at home now. Like, we're taking care of our health, but this podcast is our job in a sense.
Yeah.
And we would love to get paid for it, but if we didn't, it's keeping us sane.
Yeah.
So, anything you want to add, Azzy?
No.
Okay. Once again, my name is Rayven. I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Asmodeus. I use they, Z pronouns.
And this has been another episode of Smoking Out the Closet. Bye. Bye.